Hi there, I'm Mama Jane's husband, and this video is about our stop at Montego Bay in Jamaica. So if that interests you, then watch on. Hi, this is
Mama Jane.
And I'm Mama Jane's husband, as I've already said. And we visited Jamaica on P&O Arcadia, and it was a Sunday, so unfortunately quite a bit of Jamaica was closed. So we were glad that we were on a cruise excursion which took us to go rafting down this famous river called the Martha Bray.
And it was absolutely amazing. It was just so beautiful. The rafts were, they were interesting because they're made from poles of bamboo, you know, big lumps of bamboo, sort of strapped together. And then the seat, there's just room for 2 people on each raft. The seat is a pair of pallets hinged, and then with sort of a padded plastic seat on top of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
And there was a man, you know, like on a punt on a river in Cambridge or wherever. It was the same kind of thing, but yeah.
That was bamboo as well.
That was bamboo as well. Now, getting on the raft was quite easy. Getting off the raft, because you sat sort of quite low down, you know, it was a bit tricky, but you can do it. But it is a little bit tricky. Do not think about how inelegant you look, because you will, because your bum will be stuck up in air. So don't worry about that. Yeah. But it was quite an experience.
It took a long time to load people onto the rafts, because while it's not it's quite easy to get on the raft, it takes a long time for them to load the to line the raft up for us to get on, because it's a flowing river. And so we got there with about an hour's drive across the island, which was great because it meant that we saw quite a lot of Jamaica, and we saw Montego Bay. I explained there are 2 cruise ports in Montego Bay. One which is a little bit outside of it, and one right in the middle of Montego Bay. So we were at the one that was a little bit out of Montego Bay. So we drove through Montego Bay on our way to the rafting, and so we had a little look at that, and then we got to and we had a 2-hour wait. So, it was just rubbish.
That was
organisation.
bad planning.
And that was largely down to P&O.
Yeah.
Because they should have scheduled
staggered
the coaches to leave differently.
Yeah.
So
because the men were working, the drivers, the sailors, whatever, were working as fast as they could to get the rafts into where we could get on them. But then once we've gone down the river, they've then got to get the rafts out. You don't come back up the river. They have to get the rafts out and load them onto the back of a lorry, which involves a huge crane thing. Oh, you like cranes, don't you? Yeah. A huge crane thing, because they're heavy, you know. So it's quite a
involved job, isn't it?
A very involved job. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just like a boat that you paddle along and that's it. But the actual experience is something I've never known anything like it.
It's an authentic experience.
Oh, it's so authentic. And all along the river, there are people selling things, but we couldn't get to them because you'd have to pull in, kind of thing. Whereas
we could have asked to stop.
We could have asked to stop, but I think usually what happened was it was people on the road or cart tracks or whatever that were sort of buying things there. Yeah.
So while we waited, there was a bar there, and you got one non-alcoholic drink included, but you could have bought more if you wanted to. But there's some shaded areas to stop in, so you could get out of the shade. There were some pretty good toilets there.
Yeah.
So there were toilets on site. There were quite a lot of toilets. What you've got to do is, while you're waiting, is keep your eye out, because there were some fabulous butterflies around, if you're into butterflies. And there were lots of cats.
Lots of cats.
And these cats were very friendly, and of course knew all about tourists, so they kept popping along to see you and hoping for the best. And you just had to wait until it was your turn to be loaded up on the raft.
And I think it's no good getting, cross, agitated, because it is what it is. And until P&O stop sending people out en masse, there's always going to be this problem. Yeah.
So we, on the way down the river, we did see some wildlife, not a lot of wildlife. We saw a heron, what looked like a black duck to me. We saw what is it called? I've got brain freeze, I think. Notes time. It's a termite nest up a tree.
Oh yeah.
And there were some coconut trees lining the river, and some banana trees, plants lining the river as you was going down. But there was just a serenity that you just wanted to bottle and take home with you, really.
Yeah.
It was that.
So green and lush, and quite a wide river.
And it took us about 45 minutes, 55 minutes to go down. And there will be a video of us going down it, but there's such a long video, I'll post that separately. Then that was it. We travelled back to Montego Bay and the cruise port, and we looked around. I have to say, even if it was open, Montego Bay didn't look the most appealing place to go through and to spend time at. So if you normally self-explore, I think you'd be wise to think carefully about what you do when you go to Montego Bay, and perhaps there's one port where you need to do the cruise excursion rather than self-exploring yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
And research yourself, and research Jamaica very carefully, and your personal safety and everything.
It may be that you've been to Jamaica lots of times and love it and think we're talking rubbish, and please let us know if we have sort of got the wrong idea of it.
There apparently were some shops at the cruise port, but we didn't see them, so not quite sure why that was, but we missed the shops. Don't think there were many, but we seemed to miss them. So that was Martha Bray, which I'd recommend to anybody going to Jamaica to visit. And because we had a fabaroonie time.
Again, it's no good if you got say you're in a wheelchair or use crutches, or I wouldn't risk it on crutches.
If you've got bad arthritis, to be honest, you'll struggle.
Because it's quite a steep walk down to the river. Proper steps, but they're steep, and as I said, getting off is not the easiest.
So that's it. So it's a goodbye from
me,
and it's a goodbye from
him.
So goodbye.
Bye.